which we were created is simply our Maker's Son living in us, living the life he planned and doing the things he wishes to do through us. We, of course, can't get our minds around this idea. It's so far from what we have been trained to think and do that it seems like an unrealizable and unreal dream. But the truth is that this is why our Creator made us and put us on this planet. He wanted us to have a real choice. Accept his will or reject his will. See clearly what his life produces and what the absence of his life produces, and choose between them. The world we see around us now is the life that results from his absence. It's a world from which we try to get what only his life and love can give us. We are made for the security, self-esteem and happiness that only his love can give. But we try to fulfill all of these needs from the things, people and circumstances of the world around us. The result is a personality that is corrupted in its very behaviour, corrupted in the way it thinks, feels and responds, corrupt in even its ability to change or adjust. How were we created to live? The Creator's Son, Jesus Christ, expressed it very simply. I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you shall eat or what you shall drink, nor about your body, what you shall put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add 1 cubit to a span of life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which today is alive and tomorrow is thrown into the oven, will he not much more clothe you, O men of little faith? Therefore, do not be anxious, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the Gentiles seek all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them all. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things shall be yours as well. Therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Let the day's own trouble be sufficient for the day. But we find this kind of attitude to life very difficult, even though it is very attractive. However, the majority of the world does not live like this. And in fact, we could not ask for a clearer choice than we see daily. The results of living like this and the results of not living like this. We see war and greed on one side, and we see unusual compassion and generosity at times on the other side. We witness conflict and selfishness daily. Yet we come across friendship and thoughtfulness repeatedly. Nevertheless, we are very clear in our minds about which comes most readily in our lives. We have little doubt that it seems easier to think of ourselves first rather than last. It's easier to put our own needs before those of our neighbours. We find it more natural to be impatient than to be patient. Our very nature seems to favour ourselves rather than others. Our very nature seems to be corrupted, or to find the way of life described by Jesus Christ harder, even impossible. we seem to be deeply flawed. We appear to have what Shakespeare portrayed as a fatal flaw in our very nature that prevents us being what we know we should be. In fact, that is the case. That's the situation. In trying to satisfy our needs from the world around us rather than the Creator within us, we have become twisted, corrupted in our very nature, in the way we think and feel. We are perverted in our basic attitude to our living here on earth. Let's talk